Hello, and you're very welcome to episode 319 of Treaty Talk. It's myself, Tom Clancy, joined once again by Matt O'Callaghan of the Weekly Observer and Baystar. We're here to talk about all things Gaelic games around the county and indeed in terms of inter-county action for teams in the Green of Limerick. But before we do discuss those, we must extend, unfortunately, our sympathy towards the Ryan family of Knocklang, and that's, of course, friends of the show here in terms of TJ Ryan and Donny Ryan, who will be very familiar to many Gaelic games fans out there, and of course the other members of the Ryan family on the passing of their mother Esther. This, of course, David, Jackie, Martina as well, and the extended Ryan and Walsh families. Matt, you probably South Limerick man like yourself. We've great time for the Ryans, and obviously Esther was part of a fantastic family.
I've fantastic family, and I suppose our heart goes out particularly to her husband Dan. Who was her soulmate for so many years, and to TJ, Davy, as you said, Donny, Jackie, and Martina. The contribution that the Ryan family have made, each and every one of them, to the Gaelic Athletic Association, Tom, is simply phenomenal. I remember Dan hurling well with Gareth Ballan. He was, an all-action man that gave everything. And you'd wonder, if you knew Dan, you wouldn't have to look far to realise where the level of commitment and, that the lads have given, that just, it was just a question of picking it up from their dad. Like TJ has given, as a player, absolutely phenomenal as a manager, as a pundit. Donny, has been here. Davy as a player and as a manager in Knocklang, and Jackie and Martina. But Esther herself, of course, was the driving force behind it all, and was totally immersed in the GAA. She married into the GAA, and she came out of a GAA house as she was a sister of the late Big Dave Walsh of Ballylanders. She came originally from Carrituck, Ballylanders, and everybody that, ever had anything to do with Limerick football in particular would have known Big Dave Walsh and his big beard and what have you. But she came from a GAA background, and she went into a house immersed in it, and her contribution behind the scenes in helping and motivating the lads, and in particular helping the Gareth Ballan club has been absolutely phenomenal. She's been sick with a couple of months. She will be sorely missed, because she was always great conversationalist to meet, always in good form, and hurling was her great passion, and she just didn't sit back about it. She made a huge contribution behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, very well said, Matt. Well, may Esther rest in peace, and as I said, to the Walsh and Ryan families, we extend our sympathies here on Treaty Talk. Okay, we're going to chat hurling in just a moment.
Impression of the game you get out with what you put into it. It's like a walk of life. If you're good enough, go out and get it, no more about it. Your mother sends you down to the shop for a pound's worth of goods, and she gives you 50 pence. You can't get the pound's worth of goods, can you?
Just about kept in. Oh, well done, Shawty Buckley. To do that to Tomas O'Shea, he deserves to score from here. One of the highlights of the Sunday game.
Limerick went out there from the word go today. No more about it. They made all the running, that was it. Put the ball over the bar and the back of it, and that's it. No ifs, no buts.
Is there much time left? We have a couple of injuries. Here comes Kieran Curry. Curry leading the charge of the right brigade. 45 metres out. He's a chance to score. He's put it home.
There's no sympathy in this game for anybody.
Yep, no sympathy indeed, and Matt, no sympathy for Limerick.
Can I just say, Tom, looking back at that point, it gets better with age, and I'm not using a wine cliche now or anything like that. But when you think back on it, and how delicately poised the game was. Clare All-Ireland champions, and Kieran Carey comes up with that. Like, it takes a special player to do something like that. Absolutely. It is simply phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And well, it was Clare who were at the Gaelic Grounds last Sunday, Matt, again, this time also as All-Ireland champions. And I think Limerick could have done with a couple of those type of scores, Matt. They were, I think inefficient is probably the easiest word to describe Limerick as in front of goal on Sunday. On another afternoon, they could have had 4, if not 5 goals. On this Sunday afternoon, the radar was off. The small margins needed to rattle the net wasn't there. Eibhear Quilligan was in good form. And ultimately, Clare took probably their only goal chance of the game from their own David Reedy, and that was the difference come the 70th minute.
It was, Tom. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see the game due to circumstances outside my control, but I watched most of it, not all of it, and I think your summation there is absolutely right. But Tom, you must remember that, and we said it here last week, there isn't anything greater to motivate Clare than the sight of a green jersey. And for that reason, we had to discount what had gone before with Clare in the league, and in particular the fact that they had so many of the All-Ireland team not involved in the first 3 games. And against Wexford, they had a share of them back, and they had more of them back against Limerick. But having said that, you're right, it wasn't anything near as efficient a performance as we have come to expect from Limerick. Limerick were disappointing. Now, they got the goal chances. Unfortunately, they weren't able to take them. On another day, they probably would have taken 2 or 3 of them. But overall, the overall performance, Tom, I think could be best described as flat. And it's quite obvious, but Clare wanted it more.
But they needed it more, didn't they, in terms of trying to stay in the division?
They needed it more, but it doesn't alter the fact that they won an All-Ireland, having been beaten by Limerick twice on the way to it. That's an immovable feast, or whatever you like to call it. But no, it was disappointing from Limerick, and I would expect at the weekend that we're going to see a backlash. Now, we've got to, Tom, we're anything but sitting pretty. We have 3 points. Clare have 2 points. Wexford have 2 points. There are 2 teams to go down. Kilkenny have 4 points. So I don't think, as far, and I hate using this word relegation, but as far as that is concerned, we are not out of the woods yet.
No, indeed not. Yeah. No, I suppose people will be banking on at least picking up one more win, because it's Galway this weekend, Kilkenny the following weekend, and then Wexford to close out the group stage. So people will be thinking one more win may do it, but there's no guarantee that will be enough either, because if you lose to Kilkenny, that would be Kilkenny pushed up the table. Clare could potentially pick up a couple of wins in their final 2 games. And maybe Wexford could be the ones that will go down, but in my opinion, it's probably one of 3 or 4 to join Wexford, or 1 of 3 anyway to join Wexford. So, it's
and unfortunately we're among them.
Yeah. But look, I
know.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be. I wouldn't come into that frame of thinking just yet.
Look, I'm not saying it at all, Tom, but we've got to be pragmatic, and we've got to look at the table and tell us what it's saying.
Yeah.
Now we've 3 games left. We have a game in hand. So, essentially, our destiny is completely in our own hands. But and I would be very, very confident that we're not going to get relegated. And as I said, I hate using that particular word. But Tom, we would not want a repeat of the flat performance that we saw last Sunday.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there was no Limerick player from play that managed more than 2 scores, which is pretty untypical. There was Cian Lynch got a couple, Aaron Gant got a couple from play, Aidan O'Connor came on and got a couple, but there was no player that really stamped our authority on this game for long enough for Limerick, and that was probably the the flat patches and flat patchy performance, I think, was mentioned. I don't know, was it by John Kiley or by some analyst? I can't recall, but there was a certain level of up and down that Limerick experienced during this game that maybe left him short. In terms of personnel, Matt,
I put it to you this way, Tom. Like, we've seen Limerick in the past in second halves, and they started off the second half like an express train.
Yeah, 4 minutes. Yeah,
but like going down the home straight, 4 or 5 points down. I think there were 4 or 5 points down with 11 minutes to go. You'd normally back Limerick, but the kick, to Clare back didn't appear to be there.
Yeah, it didn't. Clare didn't score from, I think, the 59th or 60th minute to the end, so the last 13 minutes of the clock. Of course, Limerick's last 10 minutes, Matt, one of the talking points, of course, is that Limerick finished with 14. I think I pointed out his first red of, certainly for Limerick anyway. I don't recall one for Patrick Swell either, but Diarmaid Byrnes dismissed in, I suppose, interesting circumstances. John Kiley seemed to think it was for the way Diarmaid approached the ball and the way he stepped into the challenge, maybe caught Tony Kelly with his foot, but there was certainly a lot in the afters. I think there was a couple of Clare men would be lucky to escape sanction, and look, Diarmaid Byrnes probably defended himself, but it bubbled over there, and it's probably a sign of maybe the competitiveness and the tension that exists between these teams.
Yeah, but it sometimes in those circumstances, and you would back Limerick in those circumstances to galvanise immediately and go forward, but it just didn't happen. I saw footage of the incident a couple of times, and I cannot understand why somebody in a blue and gold jersey didn't get sanctioned.
Yeah. I think most Limerick supporters would certainly see why Diarmaid Byrnes was sent off, but for him and him alone to be, pulled aside, that's where would gripe, I think, a bit more with Limerick. Certainly, Adam Hogan was probably just as guilty of ill discipline in that moment as Mr. Byrnes was. So it was interesting that there wasn't even a talking to for the Clare men, and it's. It's interesting. It's something that maybe that Limerick will happily move on from, and maybe Diarmaid Byrnes was due a break anyway. I think he played the last 2, if not 3, league games anyway. So maybe they were looking to shuffle the pack next weekend against Galway anyway. So look, it might be no harm that is forced upon them, and just to try look at other options in that position.
You could expect Tom. You could expect quite a considerable amount of changes for the coming week. Not entirely because of the flat performance, I would say, but John Kiley probably had it in mind anyway. Plus the fact that some of the walking wounded, and you're talking about big names like Sean Finn, Kyle Hayes, William O'Donoghue, Garrod Hegarty, that some of those are closing in now on a return. You have people like Declan Hannon, Darragh O'Donovan, Peter Casey yet to make an appearance. So there will be a lot of I suspect that there could be quite an amount of shuffling of the pack this time. Shuffling the pack, and
possibility, of course, of the goalkeeper changing.
You must remember, Tom, that we're only a month out. Is it 5 weeks from the
the 5 weeks from the Tipperary match, I think, or maybe 6.
You have 3 games now, 3 crucial games. And these games, are preparatory games. Yes, they're league games and they're important games, but they're preparatory games for the big one, the opening round of the championship.
Yeah, the 20th of April is D-Day, Matt, for Limerick. Yeah, so that's it's a Sunday, I'm pretty sure, isn't it? Yeah, so Sunday. So they've basically,
it's just 5 weeks away,
Yeah, you've three games in a row coming up. Interesting that the way it's fallen, that it's three Leinster teams to close out the group stage, and probably no harm in that in terms of just we won't be meeting any of those teams in championship until the All Ireland series, you would imagine. So probably no harm to be playing Galway, Kilkenny, and Wexford to close out the group and stay away from our Munster rivals until we need to in terms of that. So,
Tom, we might have more than 3 games. 3 wins could put us in the league final.
Yeah, yeah. Now I flip flop the other way. Now we're going talking about league finals now, but
Yeah, but
yeah,
that's
that's the
that's
reality
how
of
it
it.
is,
Yeah,
boys.
yeah.
But you've got to be pragmatic about your current situation.
Mm,
But
yeah,
we're
yeah.
talking about Limerick here, and we certainly can define them by one flat performance.
No, certainly not. No, and I think, look, they may freshen it up in terms of personnel coming into this one. I think coming into the Galway one, and may change the team around Galway. Matt, if we're looking ahead to that, Galway are on a bit of a crest of a wave, a small one, be it in the league form. They're beaten heavily by Tipperary the first day out, but
Yeah, I
Micheál
saw
O'Donoghue
that
has
game
certainly
actually, Tom,
galvanised them.
and the scoreboard, the scoreline in that does not lie.
Mm,
They
yeah,
were
yeah.
well and truly beaten by
Well,
Tipperary in the
if
opening round.
anything, the scoreboard flatters them. They got two very late goals to kind of
Yeah,
to
to
sugarcoat it a bit, you know.
sugarcoat it a bit, and they went then to Kilkenny and lost, and
No,
then
they
sorry,
beat
they beat
Kilkenny. Yeah,
Kilkenny,
yeah.
which was a surprise. Actually, Galway, in most narratives that I read in the papers, in the media, were written off as
Relegation
relegation
candidates. Yeah,
candidates.
yeah.
Such was the paucity of their performance against Tipperary.
Mm,
They went down, didn't beat Kilkenny, beat Clare in Pearse Stadium, and were damn lucky last weekend to beat Wexford.
mm. 2 points were finished. Were they kind of pulled
Points
away all
back.
right, and then were
Yeah,
reeled back in
I think
again. Yeah, yeah.
late Fitzhenry free saved, and
Mm,
they diced with it last week.
yeah, they
And
did. But they have the momentum now of 3 wins in a row, Matt, and I suppose they.
I have, but I was looking through their team sheet, Tom. It's very much more of the same. Now they've got this fella Anthony Burns in and a fella called Michael Garvey in, but other than that, it's mainly the old pack reshuffled around.
Yeah, well, they've put
But
Gavin
obviously,
Lee. They've put Gavin Lee back to centre
all I
back,
don't know
and
who at the moment is
yeah,
getting a tune out of them.
yeah. Well, they've used 37 players, Matt. So I don't know, is it entirely the old brigade? They've probably used
Well,
more players than anyone else.
that's what lined up against Wexford last week. Now
Yeah, yeah.
they've shuffled it around from game to game.
Mm.
They used a lot of players, a lot of new players in the opening game against Wexford or against Tipperary, and made huge changes after that. Huge changes after that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
But
you wouldn't be long racking up 37
no,
players.
true enough. Yeah, but it's Saturday evening at the Gaelic Grounds. I suppose we nearly 17,000 there last Sunday, so we're expecting a big following from Galway to join the hordes of Limerick people interested in this game. Represents an opportunity again for some Limerick players, I suppose, to try and put their hand up. And I suppose we've seen in glimpses what some of these guys can do. It didn't happen for Eddie Stokes the week am I saying Eddie Stokes the weekend? Yeah, and but we still seen Aidan O'Connor, Colin Coughlin, Adam English. Maybe these guys are due a break, like when we Cathal O'Neill, of course.
Shane O'Brien.
Shane O'Brien, yeah. And look, again, these guys are trying to just claw onto the starting jersey and hold on to it. So all these league games are very intriguing from that point of view, and certainly this Galway one will be no
The
different.
competition is going to get intense, Tom, over the next 3 games. It's going to be frantic,
Yeah.
and it will all augur well for Limerick. Let's hope.
Yeah, absolutely. I think.
And if you were to get a wake up call,
Mm.
I suppose John Kiley will say to himself, "We got it at the right time."
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, and I think Limerick have rarely put 2 poor performances back to back in the last number of years. It's not a trait that we've seen too often, So look, let's see how they line out. Will be probably Thursday evening or Friday evening when we know the team. So let's see how they look for that one. And Galway coming to the 2 Gaelic Grounds on Saturday evening, and then it's the trip on St. Patrick's weekend to Kilkenny, and then we're wrapping it up, as I said already, at home to Wexford in the final round. But 3 games in 3 weeks, so plenty to ponder and plenty to get chatting about. Matt, more locally, I suppose, the All-Ireland Junior B Series in Rahena in West Limerick came to its conclusion, and we have a Limerick winner.
Yeah, and we have a historic Limerick winner. The first Limerick team to win the Munster and All-Ireland in 1 year.
Right.
They're just the 3rd Limerick team to win it since and it's 21 years old now. Like Doon won it, but had lost the Munster final. Monleen won it and had lost the Munster final, but came back through the All Ireland semi-final series. And the Munster final, there was only 2 points in it, and you'd say to yourself, this game is really, really in the melting pot. And absolutely, Tom, there was absolutely the slightest doubt about it on this occasion. And Brendan O'Shea, who was the manager, and readily conceded to me after, that it was their best performance of the campaign. No doubt whatsoever about it. Cathal Downs was absolutely outstanding. He got 2 goals and 2 points, and when you have a guy like that coming in and chipping in with that level of a contribution, and the first one was a goal after about 3 minutes from a beautifully flighted diagonal ball from Gary Sheehan, and found Cathal Downs in space, and like that there was only going to be one result. He absolutely ballooned it into the net, and overall, after that, they got a grip on they got a nearly grip on proceedings, and they held it. And I've been saying here, and I've said through this medium, that in the competition so far, and it was that characteristic that they would build up leads and then relinquish them, and fighting at the end to hold out, as we saw 2 points in the Munster final, a point against Tulla, 3 points against Kilrush, Eskimore.
Yeah, 1 score games everywhere, yeah.
There wasn't the slightest doubt on this occasion. Now, I thought fullback Evan Considine was outstanding, because he was the man that was policing their danger man, Anthony Barry. He didn't put a foot wrong. He really policed him all through. And what about John Chalky?
43 years young, I think. Thereabouts.
Well, he won't thank you for saying that, Tom. He's feeling an awful lot younger.
Yeah, well, he's performing like an awful lot younger, so
absolutely. A penalty, and I thought it was a well-struck penalty. But John Chalk saved it.
Right.
John Chalk saved it. And I was saying to somebody beside me, if there was a roles reversal, that John Chalk was taking a penalty at the other end, it wouldn't be saved.
Yeah, he'd have taken the net off it. Yeah, very good.
Camogie got 3 points in a row late in the game, as the game went into the last 10 minutes, and you'd say, hell, there's a bit of momentum coming behind them here. And again, Chalky made a great save. John made a great save. I thought it was a great save, and that the buzz, well, the fizz was gone out of him. But just going back to his penalty save, Tom, within a minute at the other end, Cathal Downs had got a goal for Kildimo Pallaskenry. So it was a 6-point turnaround.
Well, considering, didn't they win by 9, and there's a 6 point swing there all of a sudden.
But at one stage in the second half, they led by 10. They led by 11 actually at one stage.
Right. Yeah. But look,
this was a final of a competition. This was the final between 2 teams who had met in the Munster final and went toe to toe. And were it not for a fantastic intervention in the last minute by Evan Considine in the Munster final, Cappawhite may have got a goal, although they still had to beat John Chalk, But look. Congratulations to Kildimo Pallaskenry. They certainly they're worthy champions, Tom. And they're forced to admit that they rode their luck along the Limerick Championship a bit. And but I saw them 3 times now in the the Junior B series. And
better each day.
Not forgetting about last Sunday. Or last Saturday, because they just, the game was over. A long while before Kieran Murphy blew the final whistle. But I saw him against Tulla, and I saw him against in Cappawhite in the previous meeting, and certainly, they showed a level of resilience that was absolutely phenomenal, and it's the type of resilience that makes champions. And congratulations to them all and the lads and their mentors. And again, congratulations, Tom, to Killeedy.
Yeah, another successfully run, I suppose, Leinster, Munster and All-Ireland
Series
of competitions. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I suppose they've consistently improved it time and time again. Not that it needs improving, but it's getting bigger and better at each occasion.
And the logistics for the final were meant to mirror what would happen on All-Ireland final day. You had a pipe band, you had the parade, you had the players meeting dignitaries and what have you. It was, absolutely fantastic. And as the competition, Tom, and I've been going down there a long time now, going down a good many years there every year, I would rate this year's competition as one of the better ones, if not the best one.
Right. Very good. Yeah. Well, look,
there was some very, very, very good games. I was down at 4. I saw Kildare Pallaskenry in 3 of their 4 games, and I also saw the Butchman Lismore game at the start.
Okay. Yeah.
And
good quality of hurling this year. Yeah.
The quality of hurling, Tom, last Saturday, it belied Junior B hurling.
Okay.
Right. And another standout performer right through the tournament for me was Mark O'Shea at midfield for Kildare Pallaskenry. Okay. He was Mr. Consistency in that middle third, and very, very important. But overall, it was a great team performance. And indeed. They are worthy All-Ireland champions.
Yeah, well, congratulations to all connected, and indeed, as we said, to Killeedy GA for running the competition once again in 2024-25. Okay, Matt, before we move from hurling, to mention SMI, I think you were, I wouldn't say quietly confident, you were just confident that they were going to have too much for the Ulster side, the Armagh school, whose name has escaped me, but yeah, they were...
St. Patrick's Grammar School, Keady.
Keady, that's it. Yeah. Far too much.
Tommy Macon, Fancy Brothers and Tommy Macon. Tommy Macon was Keady.
Right.
There's a bit of information for you now, Tom.
Right. I'm not related to those Clancy brothers anyway. So, but anyway, yeah. So, worthy winners. One sided from start to finish. Really.
There was people in SMI after the Munster final, expressing doubt about their playing the Ulster B champions. I didn't have the slightest doubt, Tom. I know what it takes to win that competition, because teams near enough to me Skull Pole last year and Mitchelstown CBS the year before won it, and I saw both of them playing in it. And I would rank SMI right up there with them, and I think they have a real good chance on Saturday week. On Saturday week against Boyne Community College in Trim.
Yeah, Trim. Very good. Yeah, so
but I would have a suggestion for the powers that be. If they'd care to listen to a humble man from Glenrue. Wouldn't it make a lovely double header? Limerick and Kilkenny preceded by the All-Ireland Colleges final.
Yeah, it would logistically would make sense, wouldn't it?
Make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it would. The only thing that would come against that, of course, the Limerick Kilkenny game was postponed due to the pitch being unplayable, and obviously the worry would be if we had poor weather leading into next week that, would the pitch take 2 games? That's just the counter argument to it. I don't disagree with the merit in trying to invite a bit of a crowd in to watch a college's final like that. But anyway, wherever it is,
Kilkenny should take their cue from Cork, who last Saturday played a triple header.
Yeah, well, Matt, when you've spent that much money on a pitch, you should be able to take a triple header. So, but yeah, they did indeed. Yeah, and of course, most of the fans left after the hurling and left the footballers to their own devices to try and win it. But anyway,
absolutely. And Roscommon left them to their own devices as well, unfortunately.
They did. Anyway, so that's the hurling SMI into the final next week against the Meath School. So best wishes to all connected there. We'll be discussing it a bit more ahead of next week's final on next week's show. So we'll come back to that one. Matt, we'll just stay on the Junior B team. We'll move to football now, but we'll come to the Limerick senior footballers momentarily. But the Junior B football, I know there was no Limerick involvement, but we must again extend our congratulations to Knockaderry and, of course, by association, Castletown Ballygran for the running of the Munster Junior B series. And victors. Probably unsurprisingly, Beale of Ballybunion, the Kerry champions, as we know, dominate this grade, and they were very comfortable victors over West Cork side, Goleen, wasn't it?
Goleen, yeah.
Yeah, so well, congrats, I suppose, to Beale on the victory, but a 4-9 to 110 victory in Castletown Ballygran, and again, congrats to Macadary, I suppose, the coordinating of it, and obviously their own pitch currently unavailable, so the opportunity arose for Castletown Ballygran to step in again, and did it. So Kerry back adding another notch on their Junior B chain there.
Yeah,
so.
back in the driving seat there, and again, congratulations to both Macadary and Ballygran for filling in. I understand it will be returning to its spiritual home of Macadary next year. They're doing fantastic development work there in the Macadary GA club, and I think they'll be able to host it next year. And these competitions at this time of the year, they run right into a time when bad weather is probably at its peak, although you'd say you could have bad weather all year round in Ireland, but you had the snow and you had the storm and you had everything. And I think between Killeedy and Knockaderry, there was only one postponement.
Yeah, they got him played. Yeah,
which is fantastic.
It is. Yeah. Okay, so that's the Junior B for this year anyway. Winners from County Kerry near Ballybunion there, Beale GA club, adding another Kerry title to that ever-growing list for Junior B honours. Okay, Matt, football, we'll stay on the football team, I think, now, and I have written down here, footballers shoot down Tipperary. Matt, I was looking through the scores across the 4 divisions, across the 32 teams that lined out, the 31 counties in London, if you follow my drift. Limerick, with 221, were the highest scoring team in the National Football League last weekend. Rare we could ever say that, I'd say. And Limerick footballers outscoring the hurlers as well, I might add, by scoring 221 and making it 3 victories on the bounce. It's the only way is up, it feels like, for Jimmy Lee and co. They're certainly on a good footing at the moment.
They're on a very good footing, if you after a long losing sequence, once you get a win, it changes the whole dynamic, and then when you put another win on top of it, like, confidence begins to ooze through their veins, and that's what's happening now at the moment. And they were able to shift a couple of early goals from Tipperary and come back and win the game, and win it very, very, very decisively. In the context of the league, it gives Limerick a target now. Their target, obviously, from the start was to get promoted back up to Division 3 after 2 games when you had 1 point, and you were facing to London, a London team who had beaten Wicklow. Every sort of questions and every sort of doubts would tend to come into your mind. But Limerick faced up to it, and they've got 3 great wins now, and they're themselves set up in a very strong position. Now, I'm just going to say, I suppose, our next match is our annual trip to Wicklow, because they don't ever seem to reciprocate by coming back.
Yeah, 2020 was the last time they played in Limerick, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, both teams got promoted that year. So since then, we've been more in Wicklow's division more often than not since then, and we've seen.
Well, tis an annual event in Auckland. So how that has come about, I don't know, but it is what it is. But it's going to be a very, very tough game now. Wicklow have a game in the meantime, Tom.
Yeah,
they play Wexford, and it will be very, very important game in terms of the dynamic of the table.
Yeah, well, Limerick folk like ourselves want Wexford actually to win out their games, don't we? Well, we want them to win this one, I think, anyway, because it'll put it firmly in Limerick's hands then. For the last 2 games, they know exactly what's needed.
Absolutely. What you've got to do is you win your 2 remaining games.
Yeah.
But I put it to Jimmy Lee myself after the Wexford game. I said, look, Jimmy, the permutation, and he totally agreed with me, that the permutation now behind in the field in McNeville Park is quite simple. Win 5 games if you're to harbour hopes of promotion.
Yeah, and they're 60%, as I think we said 40% last week, so they're now 60%.
60%.
Of the way done.
The game is on Sunday week, or the weekend after next. I'm not sure if it's Saturday or Sunday, but
I think this is Sunday.
It's absolutely crucial. But after 2 games, what I say is fair play to Limerick for putting themselves in this position.
Yeah,
fair play to them.
Absolutely, yeah. And just to recap the game, Emmett Richter and Peter Nash got the goals. Nash off the bench, immediate impact after Limerick conceded their 3rd goal. Limerick conceded 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes and 2 gifts. Now, the only thing that was missing for them to be gifts was the wrapping paper and the bow on top of them. They gave away a silly penalty, which Sean O'Connor dispatched. And then they had a free for the second one, and Limerick had a free and tried to clear their lines tried to make a pass diagonally across the pitch, intercepted. Josh Ryan was already making his way out to join the attack, and Limerick, left the goals wide open, basically. Not Josh's fault, combination of factors.
There's a lesson in that, and it's a lesson that you don't pay for because you win the match.
Yeah. It's a good way to learn.
A lot of that now is early concentration. And once the ball is thrown in Wicklow, it'll have to be 100% concentration from 1 to 15.
It will. And but Matt, at the other now, and the defensive frailties, I suppose, were compounded then when Josh Ryan uncharacteristically spilled the ball for the 3rd goal. A dropping ball, spilled it, and allowed the tip man to bounce for his 2nd goal. That's the Michael Freeney, who ended up with 2 goals. It's his name. But the Limerick scores, Matt, from some of the scores, I tell you, we've been crying out to see some of these type of scores for years. Intricate, quick hand passing, quick kick passing, running around the shoulder, not getting near Tipperary defenders, getting their shots away. And even the Emmett Richter goal was a thing of beauty. They worked the ball all the way up the pitch. They're 2 cornerbacks, well, as they're listed anyway, in terms of Cormac Wolfe and Mark McCarthy. Mark McCarthy found Cormac Wolfe. Wolfe found Richter, and Richter just, for a man of such young years, he's such great composure in front of the goals. He slotted it under the keeper. Whereas, down the years, Matt, we'd have seen plenty of 20, 21-year-olds who would have trying to take the net and all off the goals, and wouldn't have ended well when it over the bar or saved, but just strokes it into the corner, a bit like the way Colin Cooper used to do it, if you recall, the way he'd go in and finish on goal. And Emmett is, a real asset to this Limerick team. You'd often forget, he looks quite young when you see him up close, but you'd often forget the way he plays, how young he is. He's basically
he was under 20 last year.
Yeah. I mean, he's a player we have to be excited about, and I'm not trying to heap pressure on him here, but we really like the look of him. We've seen him for Newcastle West for, it seems like an eternity now. It was probably only 2 or 3 seasons, and his fingerprints are always all over Limerick's good stuff. And just to follow up from the Carlow game, I suppose that you had the good contribution of the goal and a couple of points from James Naughton, and he kicked 3 from play on Saturday evening. And at centre forward, I think he was involved in the Peter Nash goal as well. At centre forward, he was, unmarkable at times, really. And look, we know how good he is at frees, and we know his involvement in play. But now he's starting to add his own scores, starting to create a lot more scores, and it's very, very positive. If they can cut out the defensive mistakes and continue attacking like that, there's no reason why the Auckland game won't be 4 from 4.
James Naughton, of course, is a Sigerson Cup winner.
All right, with who? No comment. Skull and crossbones for anyone that's not sure where Matt's going with that one. UCC. Okay. We'll see round 6.
Going back to him at Richter, Tom, I've been singing the praises of this guy since he was minor.
Yeah.
I think he's been he's an extraordinary talent.
Yes.
And he can do things with a football, and on a football field that totally belies his tender years.
Yeah. And as I described the goal there, Matt, he, as I say, just it was like he was a 34-year-old or something that had done this 1,000 times. Like, but no, he's the youngest player on the team as far as I think maybe Cormac Wolf and himself are similar age, but basically one of the youngest players in the panel. No problem at all. Strokes it into the net, and put Limerick back into the lead, and they didn't surrender the lead from there. So it was a crucial moment as well in the context of the football match. Okay,
he's an absolute gem, Tom. He would get on any county team, and thanks be to God, he's from Limerick.
Absolutely, yeah. So Limerick onto 7 points in the top half of the table, and looking upwards towards Wexford and trying to hunt down that, I suppose, top 2 spot, and indeed with it becoming a trip to Croke Park for the Division 4 league final. But 2 hurdles to jump, first Ockram and then at home to Waterford in a couple of weeks' time. Okay, Matt, Camogie, I think, is our next port of call, and we'll start with senior because maybe we want bit of the negative, and then we'll go to the positive. We'll come to the minors in a minute, or much more positive. But the seniors, Matt, I suppose I felt like I didn't see the game now; it was on the road, but kind of looked like they were always chasing Wexford and couldn't ever get in top. But Wexford, the goals Wexford got, basically, that was the difference really in the end.
They got 2 goals in the first 3 minutes, Tom.
Yeah, that was so. Limerick were chasing their tail from.
And it was from then on, like, you were chasing the game, and Wexford were playing against the breeze, a slight breeze now, in the first half, and by half time, Limerick had clawed it back to 2-1 to 6 points. And Limerick were able to maintain them. They were able to stay in touch right up, Tom, to the 52nd minute, when they were just 2 and 3 points behind. But a late flurry of scores of 3 points. Joanne Dillon got 3 points, I think, on the home straight. Look, a 3-point lead going down the home straight became 7. They got 4 late unanswered points.
Yeah, so Limerick. So like Limerick,
in the first, Joanne Dillon got 3. That, I think, that was the way it was for Wexford. But look, it was a very, very plucky performance, obviously, by Limerick. But it means that we can probably forget about the possibility of promotion this year. Now, very, very interestingly, Tom, at the weekend in the games on Saturday, Down ran Clare very closely to 2 points, I think.
Okay.
And Westmeath were playing, and Westmeath ran.
I'm just trying to track it down here. Yeah, sorry. Antrim won 9. Westmeath 9 points. So there was a goal in it there in Ballycastle, and then Down 11 points. Clare a goal and 10. So two 1-score games really. Like
Like there were games now that there could have been a few upsets, and had Limerick not given away the 2 goals early on, who knows? So Limerick have 2 games left. They have to travel to Clare before entertaining Westmeath in the last game. So Westmeath are pointless. We still have to think, like we had to think last year, about not dropping to 2A.
Limerick have to play Westmeath, Clare.
They have to play Clare and Westmeath. Just there's only 5 games in it. And Limerick have played 3. They've played Down, they've played Antrim, and they've played Wexford.
So Limerick, I'm just looking at the National Hurling League table, is wrong. So Limerick have played 2 or 3. You said 3 there, did you?
3.
Yeah. Oh, the National League table is wrong. So they beat Down.
You're looking at the National Hurling League table.
No, the Camogie League table, I should say. But
Limerick have played 3.
Yeah, round 1 they beat Down, then round 2 they lost
to Antrim.
Oh yeah, the Antrim game has.
I was at that game in McNeville Park.
The Antrim game has slipped the net there. Sorry, that's adding to my confusion. So the Camogie Association missing.
Were you out late last night, Tom?
No, the Camogie Association are out, and they've just forgot that game even took place. But anyway, Limerick. So played 3, 1-1, last 2. Anyway, is the short version of that. But so with matches with Westmeath and Clare to come. That's at the moment top and bottom teams. So obviously the Westmeath one is the more viable one in terms of picking up more points, but you never know. Can maybe Clare have come back a bit, and Limerick might try and turn in a better performance again. That's probably the hope. And then I suppose it's Clare next, isn't it? Clare on the 15th, away to Clare, and then finishing it out with a home tie against Westmeath. That's the order of things for Joe Quaid and the girls. But disappointing, I suppose, to suffer another defeat, especially with such a poor start and a poor finish. So you're telling me, Matt, they gave away 2 goals at the start and maybe 3
2
or 4
goals in
points
the
at the
first
end.
3 minutes, Tom.
Yeah, and they gave away the last 3 or 4 scores. So, like,
4 scores.
yeah, bookending
4
it.
unanswered points.
Bookending it with 2-4, like, of the 2-10, and so basically in between wasn't too bad at all. But
No.
yeah,
Anything but in between, Limerick won it.
yeah, but not overall. Okay, the minors, Matt. More positive stories, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I was out to
Minors,
see him.
they
On Sunday.
They struck late, and it was great, I think, is the easy way of putting it, was it?
Just to put it into context, Limerick are through to the All Ireland A Camogie, a minor A Camogie semi-final. There are 3 counties in their group: Galway, Wexford, and Clare. They have beaten both Galway and Wexford. And Tom, you talk about a game of 2 halves, and mainly because of wind. Wind wasn't a factor last Sunday. Wexford led at half-time by 9 points to 3 and were full value for it, because basically, mainly for most of the first half, Limerick weren't at the party.
Yeah.
Tom, whatever Dermot Ryan and his management team said at half-time, when they hit the ground after half-time, Tom, the performance, it was the best half-hour Camogie performance I've seen from a Limerick team. It was just simply magnificent. Everything was just... They came out after half-time, and in the third quarter ran up 6 points without reply. Now, the manner in which Dermot Ryan and his management team are using their bench is simply phenomenal. Like, they sprung Maya Smith before halftime, Aoibhinn O'Connor after halftime, Grace Hegarty after halftime, and Rachel O'Grady. And Wexford regained the lead when it was 9 points all, but Limerick were on top. Now, Caitlin Ryan, which is her trademark, hit a couple of long frees, dead accurate. Now, she ended up with 4 points altogether. But Aoibhinn O'Connor came on, Tom, in the second half, and she got 3 points, 3 excellent points from play. Now, Maya Smith was involved in a couple of them, winning very, very dirty ball. Mia, is a great finisher, but this time she proved to be a great provider. And then at the very finish, and you'd say lightning doesn't strike twice. In last year's All-Ireland final, heading up to the hour mark, in the under-16A final, who comes up with a winning point? Rachel O'Grady, the daughter of Natal O'Grady, who is very well known in hurling circles. And it was Rachel O'Grady again on this occasion. The ball was played over the top, and she just got onto it beautifully. She timed it beautifully. Now, she sort of half mishit it the first time, but Tom, there was no doubt about the second stroke. It was buried in the Wexford net. And it was too late for a Wexford recovery. But the upshot of the whole lot is 2 wins from 3, Limerick through to the All-Ireland semi-final.
Sorry, I was on mute there. Very good, yeah. Is it 3 teams go through? And there's Limerick go straight through, is it? Or?
3 teams to go through, but we're going through on top now because we've beaten Clare, who we play on Sunday week, have lost both of their games.
Okay, yeah. So the form line would suggest anyway Limerick should be in a good position to get the last win there. But look, they may not need it anyway. The other side of that
against Wexford, they were without their centre back Eva Deary, who was gone abroad on one of these things that they do in the schools,
Okay.
But she'll be back for the definitely for the Clare game. So it's happy days. Like, we're seeking a first minor A All-Ireland title since 2014.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad year for Limerick Camogie. Yeah. So Kilkenny, Cork, and Tipperary are in the other group, while Dublin as well. But with two games played there, it's Kilkenny with a win and a draw, and it's Cork with the same record, and Tipperary with 2 draws. So both those sides drawing with Tipperary. Dublin, the only teams to suffer defeat so far, but they look to be out of the competition. So looks like eventually you may end up playing Kilkenny, Cork, or Tipp, or one of them anyway. And
that's who we're going to be playing, and we've played
so
Cork already, and they've beaten us in the Munster final by 2 points. But you must remember, Tom, this Limerick team, the composition of it is mainly of back-to-back winning under 16A Munster teams and the All-Ireland team. Now, of last year. Now, there is more than half of the team that started last Sunday that are eligible again next year because they were on the under 16A team. And only if Orna Barrett was available, but she's out through injury.
Long-term injury, I believe. Yeah, so that's it's impressive transitioning into players, but it's a strong group. That's fair to say. Of this minor team, but look, they still have business to do later in the competition. Okay, I think that's it on the Camogie front, Matt. Ladies football, a draw for the Limerick ladies football side last weekend on the road in Laois. Don't know what you know about this, Matt. I know there's so many games and we can't get to them all, as we always stress, but is it a good point or a bad point, I suppose? Is maybe the fact that Laois are flying high?
It's a good point in the finish. And it was something similar to Downlow, where we rallied and got a point, and we were very, very unlucky against Down in the first round. Now, we were 278 points up at half time. Caoimhe McNamara got a goal after a couple of minutes, and Rebecca DeLee got a goal. Now, her fifth in 4 games, and you'll remember the statistic that I doled out here to Mike Willigan the day he was in about her goal scoring prowess. She's up on 5 now, and in 4 games, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And 278 points, but Laois got goals from a free and from a penalty in the second half, and they led right up to the finish. But Limerick were awarded a late free, which Debbie Murphy, who was flawless from frees, Tom, she accounted for 9 of Limerick's points. I think one was from Clare, 8 from frees. She's an absolutely phenomenal free taker. So it's a 0.1 because you would have gone to the Midlands, and Laois would have been expecting to consolidate their third place standing on the table when Limerick were coming to town, but it didn't happen. They were probably a little shade looking out to get anything out of it. But like Limerick will have to turn quickly. They will have to park at the whole Laois episode now and focus on next Friday night when Carlow come to town.
Yeah.
Now this is a delayed round 4 game, which was due to be played in Carlow 2 weeks ago, but was postponed at the behest of Carlow. And it's now refixed for Friday night at a Limerick venue. It's actually fixed for Laois.
Right, so we've decided to bring the Barrow siders to Shannon side. Bring them on, bring them on down.
Bring them on down.
Send them packing, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the plan.
And it's on at 8:00 in Laois on Friday night. Now, by my reckoning, a win for Limerick, will consolidate a mid-table finish for them. I think their chances of making the top 2, they're remote because they have very, very difficult finish. A home game with Louth and an away game with Pacesetters Cavan.
Yeah, well, I suppose they need to win the 3 anyway to have any aspirations.
They need to win the 3, which would bring them to 10 points, and it's doubtful that would be enough.
Yeah, because Wexford.
Sorry, to bring up to 13 points.
Oh yeah, 3 for a win. Yeah. So
it's doubtful that could be enough in that scenario, but it would have them in the mix. But like the first thing, and I'm sure that Mike Billigan and Sean Kiley are not thinking 1 second beyond next Friday night and getting that win. And if you move on to 7 points, mid-table, things would want to go very, very wrong in the final 2 rounds for you to be in any sort of trouble at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, they're currently on 4 points, Carlow on 3. So this is a pivotal game. The winner will be ahead of the other, as it were. Like Limerick can go 4 clear of
Yeah.
of Carlow, or else Carlow can jump Limerick. So it will really, it should shape the final few rounds for both
It should
teams.
shape it now. Carlo's remaining games were, awfully in serious trouble. They've lost 5 games.
They look gone, Matt. They
Yeah.
they actually more or less could be gone if Limerick win. Actually, they will be gone if
Yeah.
Limerick win. Yeah.
Carlow now have remaining games at home to Wexford and away to Down.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, tricky assignments indeed. So, look, 3 points here. That's the aim. That's the target, and that's certainly what's needed. But probably helpful. We hope anyway that the home advantage has come back to Limerick side. But wishing them the best after that draw against Laois. And as you say, Laois. It actually kept Laois off the top of the table, really, because, or more or less, they would have been joint top if Laois had got the win. So, certainly dented their aspirations, but temporarily at least. So, a point earned, it's fair to say, in the O'Moore County.
That Laois were in Division 2 last year, and they were relegated, and they were also in the Senior Championship last year.
Yeah, but
They were relegated to that as well. So there'd be a hardcore Laois with great experience now.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
That would have more experience than your average Division 3 team. So it was a very, very good result for Limerick, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and so that's the state of play in the Little Ladies National Football League Division 3, heading into what is a delayed, as Matt says, delayed round 4 clash, but Limerick's 5th outing of the campaign. Okay, that's the ladies football, I think, wrapped for this week. Anything else, Matt, on your busy agenda? We've covered plenty there in just 50 odd minutes, but I think we've covered it all, we hope.
I think we've covered it all, Tom.
We hope. I'm sure someone will point out we forgot this or that, but anyway, just to mention, actually, one did jump to mind. The UL Freshers won the I suppose the Division 1 title, or the Fresher 1 title last weekend. Last week, I should say, in Mallow. I think it was this night last week or last Thursday. Plenty of Limerick involvement now. Unfortunately, don't have the names to hand, but Limerick involvement and the management, and indeed on the team. And then I saw the UL Freshers 2 won the title as well, and Michael Leo of Knockcaney was the captain as well. So good to see such Limerick involvement gaining further third level success, and I'm sure a couple of those lads will see them at Fitzgibbon level next year, as you will defend that title. So congrats to those connected, coaches and indeed players.
There were 4 Limerick players on the UCC team.
Right, well, commiserations to them. Yeah, but UL's, I suppose, short-term dominance of the third level hurling competitions it's evident, Matt. In fairness, they're very strong at the moment. There's no doubt about it. That's back-to-back titles at Fresher 1 level, and did they win Fresher 2 last year?
UCC by a single point.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, don't be defending UCC.
Anyway, was with UCC, Fionn O'Brien, Ty Howard, and I can't think who the 4th one was, but good Limerick representation.
Yeah, I know Tyke Body was one of the Limerick men involved with UL as well. So they ended up on the winning side of things. Okay, Matt, that's it. Thanks very much for joining us this week, as always. Thanks to you folks for listening and tuning in. Don't forget to share the podcast on your preferred platform, and do let us know in the comments if there's anything else you'd like us to cover, or indeed anything we missed in this week's edition. All right, so long go full, Matt. Thanks a million.